Yes, you. It's no coincidence that you're reading this now. There is something greater happening, and your name is at the center of it. A blessing has been reserved directly for you, something that will transform your life in a way you cannot yet imagine. The angels have confirmed it's your turn to receive, your turn to believe, your turn to move forward. Do not ignore this call. Do not let this message go unnoticed. This is for you. Are you ready to accept what heaven has exclusively reserved for you? Have you ever stopped to think how many times life has tried to show you that something greater was reserved for you, but fear or doubt made you retreat? This moment is one of those times, but with a difference. It's not an ordinary invitation. It is a divine declaration about who you are and what's to come. Your name was mentioned for a purpose, and this doesn't mean just a superficial change, but a real turn, the kind that leaves deep marks and brings clarity you never imagined having. Now, it's important that you understand, this blessing is not a coincidence. It's not something that simply appeared out of nowhere. Every step you've taken, every choice, every fall, and every restart were essential pieces for this moment to arrive here. You were called by something much greater. And when you were mentioned, it wasn't just as another person. It was with the certainty that you carry within you something the world needs, a strength that many times you ignore or forget. Maybe you're wondering, why is this happening right now? Why not before, when everything seemed more difficult, or when you thought you were ready? Because there is a right time for every revelation. And often, it is in the midst of chaos that the greatest blessings manifest. It is in this moment of uncertainty, when questions seem to have no answers, that the extraordinary happens. The call arrived now because you needed to go through what you went through. You needed to learn, resist, disbelieve, and even doubt yourself to understand the value of what is being placed before you. Here is the part that no one likes to hear, but that is essential. It is not enough to be mentioned. It is not enough to be chosen. You must accept. The big truth is that many are called, but few have the courage to take the next step. Not because they are not worthy, but because they let fear take over. The fear of not being capable, of failing again, of being disappointed. But you know what is even worse? The fear of sabotaging themselves and wasting the chance they waited so long for. So, ask yourself now, are you willing to accept what has been reserved for you, even without understanding all the details? Are you willing to trust, even when you cannot see the next step clearly? Because this is the turning point. This is the moment when many give up and return to the comfort zone. But those who say yes, they live something that they cannot explain, only feel. Do not expect everything to be resolved overnight. It is not about luck or coincidence. It is about purpose. And when your purpose aligns with the divine call, doors begin to open. But be aware, this blessing may come disguised as a challenge. It may require more from you than ever before. It may test your faith, your resilience, your ability to believe even when everything seems to say otherwise. However, those who understand this realize something that few can. True transformation happens within us before it manifests around us. And that is exactly what is about to happen to you. If you have come this far, it is not by chance. The message was not made for just anyone. It was made for you. Because there is a force within you that needs to be awakened. A dormant ability that can not only transform your life, but also impact those around you. Maybe you are thinking about your limitations, past failures, or lack of resources. Let me remind you, it's not about what you have, but about who you are. The greatest blessings come when we are willing to see ourselves as we truly are, not victims of circumstances, but protagonists in a story that has already been written with a greater purpose. It's not enough to just feel this message, reflect, and get emotional. If you do not take a step, if you do not take control and respond to this call, everything will remain the same. Opportunities will pass, and this blessing will remain just a distant echo of what could have been. But I know you don't want that. I know you're not here to be a spectator of your own life. You want more. And this is the time. Now there is only one question to be answered. Do you accept what has been prepared for you? You don't need to be perfect, nor know all the details. You just need to be willing to believe and act. What you do from now on will define how this story will be written. And don't be mistaken, fate has already taken its step. Now, the decision is yours. If you've come this far, it means that something inside you resonated. It wasn't just curiosity, it was a connection. Something in this message found a space within your heart that couldn't be ignored. The next step is not just a symbolic gesture. It's a declaration to the universe that you are ready, ready to receive, ready to believe, ready to move, even if with fear. And yes, I know, doubt may still be there testing you. It's normal. Fear tries to protect us from the unknown, but it also imprisons us when it becomes a habit. So I want to make something clear to you. You don't need to be perfect to take the next step. You don't need to know all the details or have all the answers. You just need to allow yourself to walk a little further than the point where you always gave up. If you think this is the end of the road, you're mistaken. This is the beginning of something new. But I'll be straightforward with you. Real changes come with challenges. It's not a fairy tale where everything falls into place with a magic wand. When something grand is about to happen, the path can seem more difficult. That's when many give up. But you're not like others. If you were, you would have stopped reading by now. You will be tested. I'm not going to tell you that it will be easy. But I will tell you something even more important. It will be worth it. Because every challenge that arises will be an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. That what once broke you will now be used to strengthen you. Remember, you did not get here by accident. How many times have you ignored signs, let moments pass, postponed important decisions because you thought it wasn't the right time? This time, the call is different. This time, it demands more from you because destiny can no longer wait. It's hard to believe this when you feel tired, unmotivated, or stuck in a routine that seems endless. But tiredness is a reflection of how much you have fought. Not a sign of weakness, but of effort. The mind will try to convince you that it's not the time, that maybe it's better to wait a bit longer, that you are not ready. But I'll tell you something with total clarity. If not now, when? How many times have you caught yourself postponing your own life? Waiting for the right day, the ideal moment? I'll be even more direct. The perfect moment does not exist. There is only now. And now carries more power than you imagine. This decision to believe and act will not only change what is around you, it will change you. Because courage is not the absence of fear, it's the willingness to move forward, even while feeling the weight of fear. It's not just about achieving something external. Sure, this blessing can bring opportunities, answers, and accomplishments that you've always desired. But before all of that, this journey is about reclaiming something even more important: yourself. Reclaiming your confidence, recovering your faith, reframing your pain, and understanding that each fall was preparation, not punishment. You were not forgotten. You were being shaped. The world may have given you reasons to disbelieve, but this message has reached you now for a reason. You are not done yet. There is still more to live for, more to discover, more to transform. It may seem far away, that the change you desire is at a distant, almost unreachable point, but I need to tell you, you are closer than you think. Many times we give up when we are one step away from what we seek. It is at this point that you need clarity. The next step will not be taken by anyone but you. No blessing manifests in the life of those who remain idle. It is your decision that unlocks what is stored for you. Do not complicate it. Do not wait for more signs or confirmations. You already know what you need to do. Even if everything still seems uncertain, trust. This is the only way for those who do not want to be prisoners of doubt. If this message has reached you, it carries something special, something that time and chance cannot explain. Do not ignore what you feel now. This is your moment to act, not to wait. Life has brought you here, and now everything depends on your choice. No one can do this for you. You are the one who decides whether this message is just another text you read and let slip, or if it will be the beginning of a new phase. If you have reached the end of this message, it is because something inside you does not want to live in the same place anymore. The choice is yours. Everything you need is within your reach. So, what do you choose now? You don't need more signs, more proof, or more guarantees. Everything you were looking for has already been placed before you. The only thing left is your decision. It's time to stop watching your life pass by and start living intentionally. How many times have you wished for something to change, for an opportunity to appear, for a path to be opened? Well, this is the answer. This is the moment. The question that remains is, are you going to act or watch everything slip through your fingers once again? If there is one inescapable truth, it's this. Time keeps moving forward, whether you are ready or not, and with it go the chances that could have changed everything. I'm not saying this to pressure you, but to remind you that waiting indefinitely is, in practice, giving up without admitting it. You may have missed opportunities before. You may have sabotaged yourself or let fear paralyze you. But today is different. Today you are aware of it. And when awareness awakens, there are no more valid excuses. If you are waiting for someone to come to rescue you, to push you in the right direction, or to guarantee that everything will be all right, let me be clear. That is not going to happen. The responsibility for this change is yours. Only yours. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it also means that the power is in your hands. No one can stop you when you decide to act. It's not selfish to put yourself first now. It's not weakness to admit that you need to start over. It is courage. The courage to be the protagonist of your story and not the supporting character in someone else's plan. How many times have you promised yourself that you would change but ended up stuck in the same routines? It's time to break this cycle. Life doesn't change when you wait for something external to happen. It changes when you decide to act differently, to try a new approach, to dare to believe again. This message is not here by accident. And if you keep repeating the same excuses, the same delays, nothing will be different. But if you do something new today, just one step, one movement, the cycle breaks. The hardest part? Trusting before seeing the result. But that's how the greatest dreams come true, when you bet on what doesn't exist yet, but believe you can build it. You don't need everything to be clear to start. You just need to believe that the process will take you where you need to be. Absolute control is an illusion, but the courage to take the next step is what creates the future. This is the raw truth. If you close this message and continue your life as if nothing happened, nothing will change, and in the future, you will wonder what it would have been like if you had allowed yourself to believe, even for a moment. But if you take a step, even a small one, something already begins to move. The universe responds to movement. When you commit, the pieces begin to fit together. You may feel that this journey is lonely, that no one understands what you are going through or the weight you carry. But let me tell you something. You are not alone. Maybe the people around you do not see what you see, but there is a greater force that guides each of your steps, even when you do not realize it. The same force that brought this message to you. You do not need to wait for a perfect moment. You do not need a miraculous sign. Everything is already here now. Today is the only certainty you have, and wasting this moment is a risk you can no longer take. It is useless to want to change everything at once. Start with the first step. Decide today not to be a hostage to fear, doubt, and circumstances. This small gesture can be the spark that ignites the greatest of transformations. Look at everything you have already overcome. How many battles you fought alone. How many times you thought you couldn't endure and yet you continued. You are already proof that you have more strength than you think. Do not belittle yourself now. Do not give in to fatigue. The worst is over. The next step is the reward for everything you endured. It is easy to get used to the idea that great changes don't happen to you, that moments of transformation belong to other people, but that is a lie. This blessing was reserved for you, but it only becomes real if you allow it. The opportunity is before you, but it needs your decision. Do not waste it. Yes, you may be scared. Yes, you may have doubts. But even so, say yes to what is being offered. A yes is not just a word. It is a commitment to the life you deserve. If you have come this far, it was not by chance. Now it's up to you. So what will it be? Will you keep waiting, or will you take the step that can change everything? This is your moment. Do not let it pass by. Sign up, comment on what touched you the most in this message, and leave your like. Your journey begins with a simple step. Let's go together.